Welcome to my channel. This is my channel all about cross stitch. I'm excited to share with you today what I've been stitching on. This is Flosstube number 40. Welcome. So this has been a really good weekend. It's Sunday, March 6th today, 2022. And I'm having a great weekend. My husband took my son on an impromptu trip to London. Long story. But they're away for a few days, so it's just myself and my two younger kids. And it's been an interesting household change up. So that's been great. My community orchestra had our dress rehearsal this afternoon, so that was fun. We ran through everything and hopefully got the kinks out and polished things up, and we're looking forward to our concert on Tuesday evening the 8th, which will be my first time performing with this group. So I'm really excited. If this is your first time to my channel, I just recently joined an orchestra in the area, just a community orchestra, but I play viola and it's a lot of fun. Thank you to my new subscribers. I've gotten quite a few new people to my channel since I posted the market favorites. Thank you for watching that and all of the kind comments. I never imagined that it would get that kind of a response, and I would have not filmed outdoors probably had I known that. So lesson learned, but thank you for all of your kind comments and everything that you all had to say. It was fun to hear what some of your favorites were as well. Market is ending. I guess it's over now officially, so I can't wait. I've ordered a couple of things and I'm looking forward to receiving them. I went through cross-stitching supplies. So I have been participating in WIPGO this year. This is my third year doing it. I'm not sure when it started. If you're not familiar with WIPGO, there are lots of great videos about what that is. It was started by Jessie Marie Does Stuff. I'm participating and I had some catching up to do. I don't want to say I fell behind because that's not the point of this, right? But I had fun catching up some in the last couple days. So for January, the two pieces that were called on my board were Mary Mary Needleworker and Victorian Home by Artecy, which I'll try to put the pictures up here of the completed pieces. Mary Mary, I did complete my 15 hours stitching time in January, but I also worked on her in the last couple weeks, putting in a few more rows of that massive blue skirt. I love that color. It's a beautiful variegated aqua, but it's a lot of stitching. So it seems like it takes forever to get anywhere with it. So I did put in a couple more rows there, several hundred more stitches beyond my WIPGO goal. And then last night I completed my January goal for, well, I shouldn't say January, I should say my yearly, my 2022, because really my goals are to finish those things, you know, stitching on them by the end of the year. So I did finish the one that was called in January, which was Victorian Home, and here's where I am. I worked on filling in this front porch here, and I felt like a renewed sense of enjoyment in this. You know, sometimes full coverage pieces like this, for me, I really enjoy starting and then I'm excited about the possibilities, and then I get a little bogged down after a while and I put it aside and then I pull it back out and I'm not really excited about it. And then if I make myself put a few more stitches in and work on a couple more hours, usually then when I start to see new progress, I get excited about it again, and that's exactly where I am here. It's fun to see now more of the house taking shape, because it has been in this state up here for years and years and years. I started this in 2013 and it's kind of just languished for a while, so it's been fun to see that. This is stitched on 18 count Aida. By the way, you know, Chris Cross Stitch recently talked about the pronunciation of Ada actually being Aida. That was how the original manufacturers in the 1800s pronounced. And Jean Farish has talked about that more than once on her channel, and she always says Aida. I do prefer to say Aida as well. I'm hopping on that bandwagon. Wait up for me. I'm totally with the Aida train. So this is 18 count, 2/1. It's stitched with 2 threads, and I'm not loving it. I just realized this last night. I was watching someone else's floss tube, and she was talking about, and I'll mention her later, but she was talking about stitching full coverage on 18 count. I have stitched on 18 count for years and I loved it, but I had this realization last night that after starting a Heaven and Her Earth with the 25 count, it's just not the same. I mean, I wish that I was stitching this on 25 count, 1/1. The 2/, on 18 count, it gets great coverage, but it's getting kind of bulky and I don't really like the look of it. So, but I'm gonna keep plugging away because, hey, this is what I've got. I'm not gonna restart this. So I will get that done, but I probably won't start any more full coverages on 18 count unless I'm absolutely, for some reason, I have to do that, which I don't know, you know, who knows. Anyway, I think I've held this up long enough. I'm gonna put that away and move on to the next thing. So in February, I had the pieces Do Different from Long Dog Sampler, stitched all in DMC 310 black, and A Kiss for Snowman, a Dimensions Gold Petite kit. And of course, I grabbed my bag that I have Do Different in, which I thought I just folded up and put in here the other day, and of course, it's not in there and I'm not gonna go get it. I did not quite complete my 15-hour goal on that one. I have about 10 hours. So I will show that next month, hopefully when I have completed that WIPGO goal. But I will show you Kiss for Snowman. Here's where I am on Kiss for Snowman, he's not ironed, so I apologize. I just pulled him out of the Q-snap. I love this one. The little girl's face is starting to come into view. And I think she's just adorable. She looks like those old postcards from the 30s, 40s, 50s, the old picture books. I think she's just precious. And I completed about 20 hours on this one because after I got to my 15 hours, I just wanted to keep going. And so I put quite a few more stitches in than I had for my goal, which is great. I'm very happy about that. And I really could keep stitching on this as well. I'm trying to get myself to move on to something else, but I guess if you're enjoying something, you know, why not just keep stitching on it? Why make yourself go to something else? So I may just keep working on this one for a while until I need a break. Oops. I've been hearing a lot of talk. Well, I mean, I always have, but recently a couple of the floss tubers that I've been watching have been talking about how hard it is with these Dimensions kits to pull some of those half stitches through the fabric. For example, when it has like 4 and sometimes 5 or even 6 strands of floss at a time that you're trying to pull through. This is an 18 count that came with the kit. And that's a lot of floss to be pulling through those little tiny holes. So a moth just found the lights that I'm using and it's like keeps hitting up against them, as moths will do, and it's making a smacking sound, and I hope that the camera's not picking it up. And if it's not, then you didn't need to know about that. So yeah. Anyway, what I do for these kits, for those many floss strands, and the needles are small, you know, because you're working on 18 count. The Dimensions needles are, I don't know, I feel like they tend to send ones that are too large, but maybe that's because they need that many strands to go into the eye, but then it ends up being a little too big for the fabric. I don't know. What I started doing is my fingers were getting really achy from trying to pull through, and I wasn't working on my kits as much as I would like to because of that. I was getting annoyed. So what I started doing is I will pull, if it's an even number, I will do it, say it's 4 strands, I will do the loop method with the 2 strands, and then I will stitch the half stitch, and then I will go over again and stitch it again. As if I was going to stitch it, you know, an X, only I go the same direction on the top leg instead of, and so, yes, it's more stitching. It's more, you know, this motion or you know, two-handed, it's more that motion. And it probably doesn't lay the same as it would if I had all 4, you know, separated. It's just kind of on top probably, but that saves my sanity, it saves my fingers, and that's what I started doing. Obviously, if it's a odd number, that doesn't really work out very well. If it's 3 or 5, I do go ahead and do it. I could probably get away with less, but I haven't gone there yet. So that's my, as far as gum said, that's all I have to say about that. And I can't do the voice, but whatever. You know, the Flosstube avalanche is right over here, about to like slide down. For March WIPGO, I have not started on my WIPGO for March, my projects yet, but I want to show them to you because I do need to get them going. One is Historical Women, which is this one. So I'm looking forward. Again, my WIPGO goals are 15 hours on each project that I put on my board. So it will be 15 hours on this. I wonder how many women I can get stitched in 15 hours. Probably one at the rate that I go, to be honest. So stay tuned, we'll find out. Dum-ba-da-dum. Ridiculous. And then my other one is, ooh, it's in the bag this time. My Garan tote bag with all of the books. And inside all the fabric with the books, is my treasure hunt bookshelf, which is a heaven and earth design that I started several years ago. It's on 25 count 1/1. So I will get started on this one this month, and well, not started, but you know, back into it again. And I look forward to seeing what I can get done this month. I should iron these things. I was gonna say I should wrinkle these things. That's already taken care of for me. It's effortless. I don't have to pre-wrinkle anything. So in addition to my WIPGO projects, I did stitch on some other of my WIPs, including this one, and it's a mess, guys. I'm sorry, but here is my Blue Jays. This is from Riolis. And you can see all the lovely fraying going on that I talked about in one of my other videos. And I did put on fray stop, which has helped. I guess I should trim these threads to make it look a little bit neater. My stitchy friend Melanie Watkins, who has a channel here on Flosstube, she's also on Instagram under Soulful Planner. She has Soulful Stitching Facebook group, and so I think her Instagram is Soulful Planning or Soulful Planner Stitcher. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, Melanie, but she also recommended that you could take some white school glue like kids use and mix it with a little bit of water and run it along the edges, and it'll do the same thing, you know, to stop it. So I thought that was a great tip, and you know, she commented on my video. I'm not like stealing from, because yeah, thank you for that suggestion. That's a great suggestion. I'll try that one next time. So there's Blue Jays. I have really enjoyed working on this one, and it's a pretty quick stitch. So it's enjoyable to stitch. It has the wool acrylic, which is different than what I've used before, but I really like it, and I look forward to doing other Riolis kits. I pulled out this adorable Yoga Cats Soda Stitch pattern. Did I say Soda Cats or Yoga Cat? It's Yoga Cats, and it's Soda Stitch, and it's adorable, like every Soda Stitch in existence. And this I'm stitching, doing a Soda Stitch stitch along with my friend Amber Rogue Mama Stitches, who has become a dear friend, and she's stitching Lunch of Love. Did I get it right this time? And I am stitching this one, and this is and I'm actually stitching this on this beautiful fabric that Amber had gifted me last Christmas. Do I have this the right way? This gorgeous hand-dyed by Rolanda fabric, and I started on the first kitty cat here. There's a helicopter. I had to pause a couple times for trains and planes. Not to get off topic too far, although that's one of the things I do best. Okay, so the place that I live in Florida, in Central Florida, every year at this time, for the first 2 weeks of March, we have the Strawberry Festival. They say that we're the winter strawberry capital of the world. I don't know how true that is, but that's the claim to fame in this town. We're a suburb of Tampa and about an hour from Orlando. So kind of closer to Tampa, but along the corridor there between Tampa and Orlando. And so when we bought this house, we purchased it here because we liked how large the yard was. It's on a half acre. I'm getting off but anyway, this is why we moved here, because we liked the property. Well, it's right down the street from the Strawberry Festival grounds, and during the year it's really quiet there, nothing going on, but when the Strawberry Festival's going on, it's like gridlocked, like it's like New York City at rush hour. I mean, it's ridiculous. And so I try not to go anywhere during the Strawberry Festival, particularly during the weekend. I had to take my son out to an event that he was signed up for yesterday in the town over, and going there and coming back, just getting, you know, really just getting into my city was like really tough, like forever. We sat in traffic. And then same thing today, I had to go over to the next town over for my rehearsal, and it was like, but my camera cut me off, how dare it. Anyway, so I took back roads from my rehearsal, and so it wasn't so bad. But so there's just all this extra traffic, and even at night, like you can hear like this hum, like a really loud hum of traffic. So people love their strawberries and their festivals. So it's really just like a great big fair. I mean, we have the Florida State Fair here in February, and then right after is the Strawberry Festival. To me, it's essentially the same thing. And I don't usually go to that, but my daughter's been asking to go this year, and so I thought with everything going on, we might go over. I think I would enjoy looking at the cross stitch. One of these days I'd like to enter my cross stitch into a fair, but I never have. So I'm interested to go and look and see what's there and what's entered and what's won. So apparently this helicopter is circling the area. I was waiting for it to go away, and it's making the rounds for some reason. So I should have called somebody and said, yo, don't fly because I'm filming. So I want to show you yesterday what I worked on. I started this, do I have it here? Jacob put out this beautiful pattern. This is my black and white printout, and this is what I stitched. This is a quick stitch. I think it's like 3x5, and I stitched this in a couple of hours, but I'm not happy with how the yellow's showing up. In Jacob's defense, these are not the colors that he recommended. He said on his pattern that you could use any blue and yellow, but he recommended DMC 444 for the yellow, and he recommended, I forget what, I think 822 or something for the blue. So I'm using 825, and I was using 307 for the yellow, simply because when I went to pull the colors, that's what I could find. They weren't in my box. They're probably in a kit, a project bag somewhere. So I just pulled those. It looked okay on the bobbin, but the yellow, it's a bright lemon yellow, the 307, and it's just not showing up like I would like. Again, I can't find 444. It's somewhere in some bag. And so I'm thinking of doing 972, which on this camera, it looks kind of orange. I mean, it is kind of orange, but it's a dark gold, and I think it would show up. Maybe I would go 973, go a little bit lighter. But I'm gonna stitch over top. I'm not gonna pull it out. I'm gonna stitch over top. It's beautiful. What Jacob has offered up, and many others, many cross stitchers have been trying to help support our Ukrainian sisters and brothers by purchasing designs from Etsy so that we could get the money straight to them. I know at least for a couple of days, Etsy waived all fees for Ukrainian sellers. I saw an article that said that Etsy, there were over $4 million worth of fees that Etsy wiped, which is pretty amazing. I mean, it wasn't pocket change. So I thought that was really great of them to do that, to try to at least, you know, help in some way. And so the full, I don't know about PayPal, but the full, you know, part of what we paid, hopefully they're able to access that. It's hard to know, like, I'm just gonna say that we're all with Ukraine. It's been interesting because I've only seen people being like so supportive and loving from all walks of life, all beliefs, all, you know, political ideals and religions. And it's been really interesting because as Americans, I haven't seen, I mean, how could we be divided about this? But then I said the same thing about COVID. Like, how is that a political issue? I don't get it. But anyway, that's a whole, so I love that this seems like something that we can all agree on, that Russia's leaders have got it wrong, and we stand, you know, hopefully in support, and we all just kind of are waiting, I think, with bated breath and praying for the best, whatever the possible outcomes are. And now I'll stop talking about that, but Chris Cross Stitch and Stitchy Lanka both had great messages about that. And so I will just defer to them as usual. So I've been doing Flosstube for a number of years, but 2021 was really the first year where I actually felt like I made stitchy friends, well, with the exception of one person who would be Amanda, Lucky Chance Stitcher. She and I have been online stitchy buddies for a number of years, and so has Nadine from Nad's X Stitch. So love both of you ladies. They've both been around for years, and I highly recommend that you watch them if you haven't, because they're both wonderful and they both stitch so many beautiful things. Like, they're very prolific stitchers. But besides them, I'm not talking about them right now. Can I make a call to my airport and tell them that I'm trying to film? Could they please ground the helicopter? I hope everything's okay. Seriously, I don't know why they're, hopefully it's not a police helicopter, but it's really annoying me because, anywho, Chris it up. Let's look at the positives. I totally Chris'd it up today at orchestra because something was getting on my nerves, and I have this pet peeve, and I kept thinking, like, this is such an easy fix, having to do with our section of Riolis, who were only 3 of us, and I was finding myself not upset, but just like thinking, like, we could fix this. Like, can we fix this? This is not necessary. We could be more cohesive. But then I was able to take a breath and be like, you know what? If nobody else cares, I guess I don't care. Is that Chrising it up? If nobody else cares, I don't care. I mean, yeah, that's probably not the best motto to go through in life, right? I say that to my family, though, a lot of times. Like, well, if nobody else cares if the kitchen's dirty, I guess I don't care, right? When I get, like, when I've had enough. But yeah, something like that. I guess, yeah, I Chrised it up. I looked at the positive. Look, at least we ended on this note together, and we started together, and we played in tune. So if one person can't get it together with the bowings, it's not the end of the world. It's fine. It is. It really is fine. And I really was okay with it. And I left realizing that I can let go of the small stuff, and this stuff doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And how freeing it was for me to truly let go of that, and not just to say, yeah, I guess it's okay through gritted teeth, but no, it really is. So why am I even talking about it? I guess just because I am learning to Chris it up. It's taking a while, but I'm getting there. Okay. So the helicopter hopefully doesn't matter, and hopefully your headphones are not buzzing right now. And if they are, likely you've heard helicopters before, and it's okay. I'm not gonna worry about it because I gotta finish this. Now, where was I? I don't know where I was. Friends. And I've made a couple of online stitchy friends that I talk to almost every day, more so because of me than them. I go through periods where I just don't really interact online, and I kind of don't go on Instagram for a couple days. And these friends are so patient with me, and they're like, they're waiting there, and they're like, I mean, they're not literally, I hope, waiting there, like, when's she gonna come on? I'm sure not. But you know, they're just very patient and understanding and sweet and loving. And there's 3 in particular that I'm thinking of, and you know who you are, I hope, that I just have felt like so connected with and so able to talk about different things. I know Darcy's been talking about, like, you know, this discussion of what do we talk about with our stitchy friends, and it really depends, doesn't it? I mean, we talk about, like with Darcy, I only talk, I think, stitching. I mean, we talk weather, and we talk his kid, his little cutie pie he sends me pictures of, you know. But here I am rambling about, my other friends that on Instagram. It suits me so well because, and hopefully them too, because there's definitely a connection through the texting, and we don't have to make conversation like, but anyway, I'm just, all that to say that I'm very grateful for my stitchy friends and for the connections that I've made, particularly over the last year. And who I would consider two of my best friends who are floss tubers right now at this moment are Ashley at Wayward Stitcher. And she is going through a tough time. I mean, we're all going through tough times, right? So please be thinking of her. And then Amber at Rogue Mama Stitcher, she mentioned me in her last video, and guys, she was so sweet. I'm like, are you sure you have the right person? I don't really know. Like, I want to say thank you, but I also feel like I need to say, well, I think you don't really, I don't think I'm that person. And so I don't know how to like say thank you, that you get me, you know what I mean? Like, but anyway, it was really touching, and I just wanted to mention that because it wasn't just go watch this lady's channel, it was like really heartfelt and sweet, and like I'm rambling now. So thank you, Amber, for your sweet, kind words and all that jazz, and I'll talk to you soon. I may not even leave that in because I don't know what I just said. Now, a couple of shout outs of new floss tubers that I have found in the last month or so. I have a cross stitch planner from 24 Hours of Cross Stitch from Jen Lee. And for each month, there are entries for various, you know, fun things. And one of them is to list new floss tubers that you found. And when I printed it out at the end of last year, I thought, yeah, that's a nice idea, but I really probably I'm not going to be finding new floss tubers very often because I'm trying to keep up with my favorites. I have a lot of favorites, and I have people that I always watch, and I miss, you know, there's so many floss tubers now, and it's so amazing and it's wonderful. And we want to support and keep up with the people that we really enjoy and feel kinship with, and all those things. So I thought, yeah, I don't have time for new floss tubers, and I can't get attached to anybody else because I'm already attached to enough people. But lo and behold, those floss tubers sneak up on you. It's not even like you go in search of them and go like, well, I need a new floss tube buddy. Maybe you do, but I don't usually, because I'm just trying to keep up with the people that I consider friends or people that I just really have been watching for a while. So I stumbled upon people, and then I'm like, oh darn, I gotta add them to my list now. But no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Okay. So I do want to mention these people after all this rambling. Boy, you get me talking. So the first one is Gracie Robles Cross Stitch Therapy. Gracie commented on one of my recent videos, and so I clicked on her. Sometimes I click on people and check them out just to kind of see who they are, if they have a Flosstube channel or if they're on Instagram. And I came upon her channel, and Gracie is, I mean, she is just lovely. I love her. Immediately, she's one of those people where as soon as I saw her and heard her speaking, I was just like, this woman is an angel. I love her. She's so soft-spoken. She's got a very calming voice to her, a beautiful accent. She's originally from Mexico, so she has a beautiful Spanish accent that I just can't get enough of. I've actually watched her videos more than once just because I want to hear her speaking. And she stitches beautiful things. She does mostly samplers that typically are not in my wheelhouse, but I love watching her, and I love seeing things that I don't normally see because I don't normally watch people that are stitching things like that. So that's been really fun. So I really recommend that you go check out Gracie. I think you will like her as well and find her just sweet and charming, and hopefully you will go over there and subscribe to her. because I believe she's still under the 1,000 subs club. And she hasn't been on Flosstube for very long. Now, my friend Amanda, Lucky Chance Stitcher, I've known her for a number of years through Flosstube, and she just recently has clued me into a couple of new Flosstubers, and so I wanted to mention them, and I hope that I have the right names for them, because I did write them down, but I did them like shorthand, so hopefully I can read my own, like I know what the full thing is. The first one is Catherine at Nealberry Stitcher. And Catherine is new to Flosstube. Of course, most people are new to Flosstube for me, but I went back and watched her from the beginning, and she has she started with 76, I think, and she has 74, I think. I don't know, she has 70 some whips that she's doing. And so she's done videos in different categories with like, you know, dimensions kits, full coverage pieces, samplers, fancy ladies. So, you know, whatever you like, if you like all of those or if you like some of those kind of things, she's got a video for you with whips in it. So I think you'll like her. She has a lot to show, and she is speeding along on a full coverage of Beauty and the Beast, and I can't believe how far she's gotten in such a short amount of time. It puts me to shame. Let's just say that. The other one that Amanda mentioned to me was Elisa, e-crafting in Colorado. Elisa. She is funny and very she is funny and just so authentic, and I appreciated her recent video where she talked about the need to stitch and the drive to stitch, and if we don't get that stitchy time in, it's like, you know, she was talking about coming up with a slang term for how we feel when we haven't been able to stitch. And so like if we haven't eaten and we're getting angry because we need our protein, we say we're hangry, for example. So what are we when we haven't stitched? Because most of us full-time stitchers know what that's like, and I certainly do, because if I deprive myself of stitching for a couple of days, I'm feeling like I gotta get that needle in that fabric at least for a couple of minutes. So I really appreciate what she had to say about that. And she also has some beautiful full coverage pieces that you gotta see. So I highly recommend both of them. And then I just realized the other day that there's a new Flosstuber out that I love. And she's been mentioned from others, and I don't think I've mentioned her, and I'm sorry. That is, I should have mentioned her months ago, and that's Stitch Ilanka. Stitch Ilanka is from Hamburg, Germany, and she is a delight. She's unique to Flosstube. She's funny. Every video I laugh, and she's very informative. She just recently had a video about the font used in a German reproduction sampler and why the printing press font was different, and she's just always got the info and presented in an easy, easy way to understand. And every video she's got, she educates me in every video, and I never know really what the topic will be, so I really appreciate that. I love that about her, and plus I love the laughs. She asked me if I was any more organized now than I was before that video that I recently did where I went through my charts. I guess kind of, to answer that question, Ilanka. Like, I know where this stuff is now. Will I ever need to have it by designer? I don't know, because I'll go through it to decide on my next start probably. So I don't know. I don't know if it's worth like all of that, but that's okay. It was fun to go through those. But I do have them in my filing cabinet now, and I know where, like my squeaky chair, and I know where they are. So they're not just thrown in boxes anymore. So you know what? I'll take it. And then there's one more thing that I want to mention before I go today, and that's our friend Denise at Black Ribbon Stitch Studio. Hopefully most of you know her. She's one of my favorite Flosstubers, I love her, and we have somewhat of a friendship. And for those of you who haven't seen her recent Facebook post from, I think it was earlier last week, she's going through a really difficult time right now. Her whole family is. And so, you know, I'm not going to go into what they're going through, but it's a very challenging time. And I just wanted to say that we are thinking of her, and if you're a praying person, to please send up some prayers for Denise and her family, and or send out the you know, love and light, or whatever it is that you do to help boost someone's strength in a difficult time. I just wanted to say that we love you, Denise. If you ever come back to this video, that I'm thinking of you. We all are, and that we love you and we hold you dear, and your husband and your family are in our prayers. That's it for today's update. Thank you for watching, guys. If you liked what you saw and you haven't already, please consider subscribing, liking, and hitting the bell, not necessarily in that order. I'll be back in a couple of weeks with another update and a number of giveaways. So if you're interested in a giveaway, be sure to tune back in when I come back in a couple of weeks. And until then, happy stitching.